Welcome back, everyone. So today's topic is going to be easements. And I've been getting a lot of requests for this one. Easements tend to be one of these a little bit more complicated, concepts to grasp, okay? So let's go over what an easement is. We'll go over the definition, and then I'm going to break it down for you, okay? So easements. An easement is a non-possessory interest in another's land that entitles the holder only to the right to use such land in the specified manner. So what does that mean? So that means that you are going to have the right to utilize someone else's property or a piece of their property, okay? So it's non-possessory, meaning that you don't own it, but you're going to have the right to cross over or utilize that piece of property, and it's going to be for a specific manner, right? For a specific item. So for instance, it could be either an access to a lake, access, through a driveway or so forth. I'm going to show you a picture and I'm going to break it down. Okay. So now we're going to get into these easements. Do they attach permanently to the deed? And who has the right to cross over? What is the term for that? And if you're serving the person, if you have to allow someone to go over your property, what is the term for that, right? So we're going to get into the rules of how do we create this easement and then break it down. So an easement appurtenant attaches to the land permanently and it benefits its owner. In order for it to exist, there must be two pieces of land owned by different individuals. So that's rule number one. Okay, so you have to have two owners, two separate pieces of property, okay? One piece is going to be referred to as either the dominant estate or dominant tenement. You might see it either way on the exam, okay? This is the land that is benefited by the easement. The other piece, known as the servient estate or servient tenement, same thing, is the land that has the burden of the easement. So let me show you. So let's take a look at this picture here, okay? We have some things going on. On the left, we have Lot B. On the right, we have Lot A. Let's just look at Lot B. Lot B has an easement that crosses over Lot A. It's a specific path to access the lake, right? So that's the non-possessory interest, meaning that Lot B doesn't own that path. They don't own it. They just have the right to use it, okay? And that attaches to their deed. Okay, so when Lot B, when they sell their property, the new owner, whether they mention the deed or the easement or not, they're going to have that same benefit. It's going to continue, okay? Now, because Lot B has the right to cross into Lot A, Lot B is going to be considered the dominant tenement or the dominant estate. They dominate. I have the right to cross over, okay? Lot A has to serve them. I have to allow you to cross over. I can't prevent you from using this specific path. That's the rules. That's what's on the deed. That's what they have. Legally, they have that capability, okay? So when you have the right to cross over, you dominate. When you have to allow the person to cross over or the other property, then you serve, okay? And let's flip it around. In the same picture, we have Lot A, we have Lot B, right? Lot A on the right-hand side now. So we see that they have a driveway that goes over, Lot B. It's in Lot B. So Lot A is going to have the right to use that driveway that goes into Lot B to access their property. So in this case, for the specific use of the driveway, Lot A is going to have a dominant estate over Lot B because they're going to dominate, meaning that they have the right to cross over that path. That's it. Lot B has to serve and can never prevent them from using that space. It's on the deed, okay? And once it's on the deed, it's on the deed. The only way for that to come off is if both owners go down to the registry and say, hey, we don't want, to have this easement anymore. We want to remove it. Or if one of the owners buys the other lot. So if you have the same owner for both lots, it's going to terminate the easement. Now, the next one we're going to get into is an easement in gross. Okay, and we can see it on the top there. Let's go over what an easement in gross is. An easement in gross is not appurtenant to any estate in land. It arises when a servient piece of land exists without a dominant piece being affected. This type of easement is ordinarily personal to the holder and does not run with the land. All right, let's kind of break this down. So it arises when you have a servient piece without a dominant piece. So let's go back to the picture. So we see that on the easement and gross, we have the telephone lines, right? Because typically this is going to be reserved only for utility companies. So for electric lines, power lines, telephone lines, gas companies, things like that. Those are the entities that we utilize in easement and gross. Okay. Now, if you're looking at the picture, there is no dominant piece of land that has the right to use that space, right? It's just the telephone poles that are there. So that means that the land is serving, and there really is no other land that has access to that piece, right? Only the utility companies. That's it. So it's considered a negative easement, and the reason why is because as the property owner, you can't use that space. That space is reserved now for the utility companies. That's it. They have the right to access it whenever they want. You can't, build anything over it. You can't build anything under it. So it's a negative easement. It kind of, it's going to hurt the usage of the property, right? And if you look at that lot, that's a nice sized lot. And with these telephone poles going through it, you're kind of cutting down, quite a bit of it. Like, the other piece of it on the other side, you really can't do anything with it. So it's considered negative easement. Now, it's going to be usually who has, where the easement is developed is going to be like through a corporation. It might be a board of directors that have that easement, and they have the right to terminate that easement whenever they want. All right, it's not going to be, it's not on the deed as far as like what we had before. There may be a mention of it, but when you see it runs with the land, that means that when the property is sold, whatever's on the deed carries over. This doesn't necessarily run with the land because the company can pretty much terminate that easement whenever they want. However, I've never heard of them terminating any easement that they've ever had. So chances are it's gonna stay there forever. So I hope you found this helpful. If it did help, drop me a comment, let me know. If there's something you want me to go over again, let me know. Drop me a comment and I'll add to the video and I'll further explain it, okay? And if you want to stay tuned to new updates, don't forget to hit the subscribe, click on the bell so you can get new notifications, and I'll see you in the next class.